Welcome to the Line Change. In today's video, we're going to be going over an article on Canucks Army, which discusses which NHL free agent centers the Canucks might sign or offer sheet this offseason. We're going to break it all down here on the channel, and I'd very much like to get your guys' input, so go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below on who you guys think out of these. We might also add one that's not in this article as well. I'll leave a link to the article in the description down below so you guys can check this out yourselves. This article is written by Jacob Fraser earlier today, and it reads as follows. Earlier this week, Vancouver Canucks general manager Patrick Allvin said the Canucks will definitely address their needs at the center position in the offseason, whether that be via trade or free agency. As we referred to in a previous article, few centermen jump off the page in the NHL's upcoming unrestricted free agent market. As a result, the Canucks could need to get creative to find their much-needed top six center if they choose to go the route of free agency. So, who's out there? First player that the Canucks, along with pretty much every other team in the NHL, will likely have some interest in, assuming he even makes it to free agency, is Sam Bennett. So Sam Bennett is the first name that we're going to discuss. The article goes on to read, Bennett has come a long way from not being able to do a pull-up at the NHL Draft Combine back in 2014. The point totals might not be super exciting, scoring 40 or more in his last 4 seasons with a career high of 49. However, the intangibles Bennett brings to any team are what will make him a hot commodity in the market. The Ontario native earned a spot on Team Canada this year due to his gritty style of play. Not only that, but he scored arguably the biggest goal for Canada in the tournament, tying the game against the United States in the finals. Bennett has gone on to straight Stanley Cup final runs with the Florida Panthers and was a big part of the Stanley Cup win for them last season. His play style would fit very nicely with what the Canucks need in their top six, adding much needed grit and high-end forechecking, which would be a great fit for head coach Rick Tocchet. Bennett would likely cost the Canucks a very large chunk of their cap space to acquire, especially to pull him away from Florida, but if the team is hoping to be a true contender, adding a player like Bennett to their lineup would be a big step in the right direction. After Bennett, there really isn't a true top six centerman that would fit the timeline, so the Canucks would need to take some chances if they want to acquire an impactful player that could have the chance to slot in and help them right away. I kind of like this idea of bringing in Sam Bennett. I believe we've mentioned Bennett in a previous video, how he's got that kind of JT Miller mentality to him. He's tough. He doesn't put up with crap. He's even referred to himself as a quote-unquote scumbag. Both him and Brad Marchand, after Marchand was traded to Florida, they are referring to themselves as the scumbags. Obviously, there was that issue that Bennett was a part of during that series against Boston. He was a huge pest against the Bruins and had a questionable hit. So there was a lot of controversy around him during the playoffs. However, he did go on to win the Stanley Cup that year. So I really like the idea of being a Vancouver Canuck. He could add, people lately have been saying that the team's not tough, especially with the headshot on Elias Pettersson and then also the headshot on Philip Hedl. A lot of the fan base were complaining that nobody stood up for them or showed any toughness. Well, if you acquired a guy like Sam Bennett, you would get that toughness because Bennett alone would be a player who would answer the bell when it came to that. So that's one reason why I'd like Bennett. Sure, he's not the point producer like a JT Miller, but he would still be a good ad for the Canucks. Yes, as it says, it's going to cost them a large chunk of their cap space, probably about $8 million. But that begs the question, would you rather pay Brock Besser $8 million or more, or would you rather pay Sam Bennett $8 million to be your second line center? Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of Sam Bennett potentially signing with the Canucks in free agency, or the Canucks potentially maybe trying to get him via trade and then working out a deal or a contract afterwards. Second name on this list, once again, a player that we've spoken of before, Jack Roslovic. The article says Jack Roslovic would make sense as a Canucks target. Roslovic would immediately become the team's only right-handed center, which they've been wanting for some time now. He isn't much of an upgrade over Philip Hedl, if at all, but could slide in as a high-end middle six guy that can move up and down the lineup as needed. Roslovic has bounced around a fair bit in recent years, so offering term and some kind of modified no-trade clause would give him the security he would likely be looking for in free agency. The Columbus, Ohio native has shown some promise with his scoring touch this season. In Carolina, currently at 21 goals on the season, already one away from his career high of 22. In the past, he's also shown that he's a very skilled forward and a bit of an underrated threat offensively. His true fit may be best suited on the wing, but he was a centerman when he played for his hometown team with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And with Carolina this season, he has a face-off percentage 0.5%. As I mentioned, we talked about Roslovic in one of our previous videos and how I was very high on him. I still am. I do think this could be definitely a cheaper option compared to Sam Bennett, and you could get him for term. He's also a lot younger. So the Canucks are obviously looking for someone who's young, and Jack Roslovic fits that bill. And I could see him being a top 2 center in just a few years from now. So I really like the idea of Jack Roslovic. Once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Moving forward, this player in particular would not be a free agent signing per se. In order to get this next name in this article, Canucks would have to do an offer sheet. And that player in particular is Mason McTavish of the Anaheim Ducks. The article goes on to read, this, of course, wouldn't be the splash free agent signing Canucks fans are hoping for, but his ability to move up and down the lineup, paired with his goal-scoring ability, make him an interesting option to fill the middle six center slot for Vancouver. The next option for the Canucks is where management would have to get a bit creative. Mason McTavish is an upcoming restricted free agent for the Anaheim Ducks. The former third overall pick in the 2021 draft is somewhat of a Sam Bennett light. He's a power forward that Tocchet would love and has already had 3 straight 40-plus point seasons in his NHL career. The Ducks will likely re-sign him, but if the Canucks can do enough to entice the young forward, he may be willing to sign an offer sheet in Vancouver. We've seen this work out well in St. Louis after signing Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg to contracts, stealing them from the Edmonton Oilers, and giving them opportunities to excel while staying in the playoff race. And a player like McTavish could see a real opportunity here in Vancouver to develop as a top 6 centerman on a playoff contending team. Of course, with all their cap space, the Ducks would be very likely to match on whatever offer the Canucks give McTavish. Some other RFAs the Canucks could target are Gabe Vilardi of the Winnipeg Jets and Marco Rossi of the Minnesota Wild, but McTavish's age and playstyle make him a great fit for a Vancouver team that wants to play dump and chase hockey and build a contender for years to come. It does say potential players beyond the few that we mentioned. The article does state the market does dry up after this. Another name that we mentioned in a previous video, Ryan Donato, is another name the Canucks could go after, coming off a career year, but this year very much seems to be an outlier while playing on a bad Chicago Blackhawks team, as his previous career high is just 31 points. The article does go on to talk about a few older players that are UFAs like John Tavares, Claude Giroux, Brock Nelson. But with the team believed to be seeking an age-appropriate center, it doesn't make a ton of sense for the team to go after these players, which makes sense. They want somebody young. We've already discussed that. Signing high-end free agents is always going to be tough for the Vancouver Canucks, with many players not wanting to come to Canadian markets. But Alvin and Jim Rutherford have not yet seemed to shy away from this challenge and will certainly look to add to the team's center depth this offseason. So that's going to do it for that article. I also want to throw in another name. He's not necessarily a center, but I have heard people talking about this the last few days, talking about the Canucks going out and getting Nikolai Ehlers, signing him. And maybe even potentially swapping out Besser for Ehlers. We'll maybe do a full-on video just on that topic alone. But I do like the idea of them going out and getting Ehlers, as he's a great player and is a top-end goal scorer, something that the Canucks could really use, obviously. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this article on Canucks Army, once again by Jacob Fraser. This is definitely a good read, telling you reasons why the Canucks should go out and get these particular players and how they fit with this team. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to The Line Change, go ahead and subscribe. Not only do you keep up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content on this channel, but you also help out the channel as well. You can find us on all social media platforms. You can find us on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. You can find a link to all our social media outlets in the description down below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.